Hi guys, back again. We are in Act 5 of Macbeth and beginning scene 2. If you remember, just last reading, um, Malcolm and Macduff are leading 10,000 soldiers into battle on Scotland to go fight Macbeth and reclaim their country. And then we experienced a scene with Lady Macbeth, who was sleepwalking. She's quite delusional in her sleep. She's rubbing her hand with one of the most famous lines from the play, "Out damn spot." We see that although in her waking life, she suggests that there's no blood on their hands, the blood is stained on her hands so much that she cannot get it out. There's a doctor and a nurse present who are bearing witness to some of the things that Lady Macbeth is doing and saying in her sleepwalking. And neither one of them want to really be privileged to that information, and I wouldn't blame them. So we are picking up on scene 2 of Act 5. These are some new characters that we probably won't see again, but we're going to talk about the content of this scene and where it's taking us. So hopefully you have your notes out and are listening carefully as we proceed.
Scene 2, the country near Dunsinane. Enter Menteith, Caithness, Angus, Lennox, and soldiers.
The English power is near, led up by Malcolm, his uncle Seward, and the good Macduff. Revenge is burned in them, for their dear causes would to the bleeding and the grim alarm excite the mortified man.
Okay, so we heard the drum and colors, right? We heard the drum. This means that, people are on the march. And whoever Menteith is, he's like, the English power is near. Malcolm, his uncle Seward, and Macduff are leading them. And these guys are so out for revenge that their call to come fight will wake up a dead man, right? They will excite the mortified man. So these men are ready. And of course, when a good leader is, leading a charge, they inspire everyone else. So people are ready to come fight with them. Listen carefully.
Near Burnham Wood shall we meet them. That way are they coming. Who knows if Donalbain be with his brother?
For certain, sir, he is not. I have a file of all the gentry. There is Seward's son, and many unruffed youths that even now protest their first of manhood.
Okay, so we're going to talk about this a little bit. We've seen Burnham Wood before, but I wonder if anybody remembers what this was. All right. Burnham Wood was first mentioned from the apparitions who told Macbeth that he would not have to worry about anything until Burnham Wood came marching upon him. So that's our reference to Burnham Wood. And the guys are trying to figure out where they're going to meet. And they agree that they're going to go near Burnham Wood. And Caithness asks, is Donalbain with them? Donalbain is the baby brother. Remember Malcolm's baby brother? And we haven't seen him since, but Lennox says for certain he is not. He knows everybody who was present. And there's Seward's son, who we know, Uncle Seward, is up here, the established soldier who was fighting on behalf of Malcolm in Scotland. His son is with them. And then they say many unrough youths that even now protest their first of manhood. What does this mean? Right? What does this mean? They're unrough, they're youth, and that even now they protest their first of manhood. This means these guys are young, right? Probably boys, maybe teenagers, certainly no match for an established army, correct? So I'm not so sure that the power is on Malcolm's side, but according to Malcolm, heaven is on his side. So maybe he doesn't have anything to worry about. Listen very carefully. But we do know that the soldiers that they're coming with are quite a few of them are young guys who are not really old enough or experienced or seasoned in battle.
That's the tyrant.
Great Dunsinane he strongly fortifies. Some say he's mad. Others that lesser hate him do call it valiant fury. But for certain, he cannot buckle his distempered cause within the belt of rule. Now does he feel his secret murders sticking on his hands. Now, minutely revolts upbraid his faith breach. Those he commands move only in command, nothing in love. Now does he feel his title hang loose about him like a giant's robe upon a dwarfish thief.
All right, so they want to know, what does the tyrant, what is Macbeth doing? Who knows what he's up to, right? It says he strongly fortifies great Dunsinane. That means that Macbeth has Dunsinane on lock, right? And we can't sleep on Macbeth because we already know the type of soldier he is to split somebody in half from the nave to the chops. He is not to be played with on the battlefield. Some say he's mad. They think he's crazy. Others who hate him less call it valiant fury. There's that word valiant to describe Macbeth again, a brave guy. So this is brave madness. I'm not sure that's a great combination, right? To be crazy and brave and mad, that's seems like a recipe for disaster. But for certain, he can't control himself. Okay, this is like Macbeth is evil and out of control. He has to be stopped. And Angus says, oh, he feels his secret murder sticking on his hands. So now Macbeth is feeling the consequences. And this means everybody knows all these murders he's doing, and he thinks he's doing them secretly because he has other people doing his dirty work. Everybody knows it's him at this point, right? Every other minute, somebody is, fussing at something that he did, right? Those he commands move only in command, nothing in love. The people who he's in charge of, they're only doing it out of duty. Nobody likes Macbeth. And then there's our clothing motif again. Now does he feel his title hang loose about him like a giant's robe upon a dwarfish thief? Now the title is just too much for him to handle, and everybody is seeing it. He's going crazy. He doesn't really know anything. And that's how people who don't really have a lot of brain power, they try to settle everything with brawn. So again, Macbeth knows how to fight, but mentally he may not have been prepared to be king. Listen very carefully.
Who then shall blame his pestered scenes to recoil and start when all that is within him does condemn itself for being there?
Well, march we on to give obedience where 'tis truly owed. Meet we the medicine of the sickly wheel, and with him pour we in our country's purge each drop of us.
Or so much as it needs to dew the sovereign flower and drown the weeds. Make we our march towards Burnham.
They exit marching.
All right, so this was just a single scene with characters that we probably won't see again. But what we see here is the temperature of the country and how people feel about Macbeth. These people are willing to fight for the other side because they simply do not like Macbeth. They know what he has done, and they just want change, right? They want change. They know that Macbeth is now paranoid, right? He feels the secret murder sticking on his hands. And so all the recoiling he's doing is like, oh, well, he deserves, what he's getting when it comes to that. And now it's our job to just go and do what we have to do and get rid of this guy. So let's go. So that's our scene here.
Scene 3, Dunsinane, a room in the castle. Enter Macbeth, the doctor, and attendants.
Bring me no more reports, let them fly all. Till Burnham Wood removed to Dunsinane, I cannot taint with fear. What's the boy Malcolm? Was he not born of woman? The spirits that know all mortal consequences have pronounced me thus. Fear not, Macbeth. No man that's born of woman shall ever have power upon thee. Then fly, false things, and mingle with the English epicures. The mind I sway by and the heart I bear shall never sag with doubt, nor shake with fear.
Big talk from that coward we knew a few acts ago, correct? So Macbeth is mad. Right now he's back home. He's at a room in the castle. The doctor and some attendants are with him. He says, bring me no more reports. Let them all fly. Don't come with me with no more bad news. I don't want to hear it. So apparently he's hearing news of maybe people coming for him. Macbeth is like, whatever. Till Burnham Wood removed to Dunsinane, I cannot taint with fear. I don't have time to be bothered with being scared, because what is the boy Malcolm? Who is Malcolm? Who am I? Who is he for me to be scared of? Was he not born of woman? The spirits that know all mortal consequences have pronounced me thus. He's referring to the apparitions and the witches, right? Fear not, Macbeth. No man that's born of woman shall ever have power upon thee. Then fly, false things. Don't come to me with that news, because none of this matters, right? The mind I sway by, in my mind, and the heart I bear shall never sag with doubt nor shake with fear. I am confident and I am not afraid. So whoever coming for me, let them come for me, because they have already assured me that I am not to be scared. All right, listen carefully.
Enter servant.
The devil damn thee black, thou cream-faced loon. Where dost thou that goose look?
All right, look at his rude self. He's so rude. The servant comes in. The devil damn thee black, thou cream-faced loon. Why is the guy's face being described as cream, right? Cream. So it's like his face is white, pale. Where gottest thou that goose look? How does this guy look, right? He's looking silly, stupid, scared. What's going on? Listen carefully.
10,000 geese, villain. Soldiers, sir. Go prick thy face and overread thy fear, thou lily-livered boy. What soldiers, Patch? Death of thy soul, those linen cheeks of thine are counselors to fear. What soldiers, Wayface?
Enough insults, Macbeth, right? So the guy is probably white because he sees the army coming at them. There are 10,000 soldiers on their way, but Macbeth has no idea what's going on. So he's asking him, what do you mean 10,000? What's happening?
The English force so please you. Take thy face hence.
Servant exits.
Satan! I am sick at heart when I behold Satan, I say. This push will cheer me ever or deceit me now. I have long enough. My way of life is fallen into the seer, the yellow leaf, and that which should accompany old age is honor, love, obedience, truce of friends. I must not look to have, but in their stead, curses, not loud, but deep. Mouth honor, breath which the poor heart would fain deny and dare not. Satan!
Enter Satan.
What's your gracious pleasure?
What news more?
All is confirmed, my lord, which was reported.
All right, so Macbeth tells the guy, take thy face hence. That's a nice insult to say, right? Get out of my face, take thy face hence. So he calls on Satan, I'm assuming, which is one of his another servants or an attendant of some kind. And then he's reflecting on his life, right? This push from this army will it cheer me or deceive me now. This is going to be the death of me, or I'm going to win, right? Or vice versa, I'm going to win, or it's going to be the death of me. It's something that will dethrone me. I have lived long enough. Like basically my life is already as full as it's going to be. My way of life is fallen into the seer, the yellow leaf, and that which should accompany old age, such as honor, love, obedience, troops of friends, I must not look to have, but in their stead curses, not loud, but deep, mouth, honor, breath, which the poor heart would fain deny and dare not. So I will not, my life is withering away. Macbeth knows he has really nothing to live for anymore. The state of duress that he's under as this king simply is not working for him. Things that people look forward to in their old age, such as living a life of honor, having love, people to be obedient to him, lots of friends, he's not going to have that. If anything, I have curses over my head. People will pay me mouth honor, meaning because I'm king, they're going to pretend like they're loyal to me, but it's just wasted breath. None of this matters. So he's reflecting that this is now the life that I have to live, and he's come to terms with it, it seems, because what are his options? He can't really recover here. And then Satan comes in to say it is confirmed that the 10,000 soldiers are on their way.
I'll fight till from my bones my flesh be hacked. Give me my armor.
Tis not needed
I'll
yet.
put it on. Send out more horses, scare the country round. Hang those that talk of fear. Give me my armor. How does your patient, doctor?
All right, so here's the Macbeth that we knew from the beginning. I'll fight till my bones, my flesh, till from my bones, my flesh be hacked. Give me my armor. So I don't care if they come and I'm ready. Let me suit up. And Satan is like, it's not really time, but Macbeth insists, I'm going to put it on. And then send out more horses, go around the country, hang the people who speak of fear, because I don't have time for fear to surround me, kill them, right? Then he addresses the doctor. How does your patient, doctor? Who is the doctor's patient? Lady Macbeth. So apparently, Macbeth hired the doctor to come see about his wife. Listen carefully.
Not so sick, my lord, as she is troubled with thick coming fancies that keep her from her rest.
Cure her of that. Canst thou not minister to a mind diseased? Pluck from the memory a rooted sorrow, raise out the written troubles of the brain, and with some sweet oblivious antidote, cleanse the stuffed bosom of that perilous stuff which weighs upon the heart.
Okay, so the doctor explains to Macbeth what he already told us, right? To some degree. She's troubled with something that I can't fix, right? And Macbeth is like, cure her of that. Can't you minister to a diseased mind, get her sorrow out of her brain? That you need to do your job, right? So again, if I were the doctor, I'd be a little scared of Macbeth here. Listen carefully.
Therein the patient must minister to himself.
Throw physic to the dogs. Now none of it. Come, put mine armor on. Give me my staff.
Attendants begin to arm him.
Satan, send out. Doctor, the thanes fly from me. Come, sir, dispatch. If thou couldst, doctor, cast the water of my land, find her disease and purge it to a sound and pristine health, I would applaud thee to the very echo that should applaud again. Pull it off, I say. What rhubarb, senna, or what purgative drug would scour these English ants? Hearest thou of them?
All right, so here again, Macbeth's madness is seeming to come out. He's upset because the doctor tells him, listen, I can't do what you're asking me to do. Therein, the patient must minister to himself. To get rid of any mental sorrow, no doctor can really help you. That's something you have to come to terms with on your own. And Macbeth is like, oh, throw physic to the dogs. I don't have time for medicine. Y'all don't know what y'all doing, right? But then he says to the doctor, you could use anything. If you could cast the water of my land, find her disease and purge her to a pristine health. And then I would applaud you. Pull it off, I say, is when he's talking to his servants about his armor. So one minute he's telling them to put it on, now he's telling them to take it off. We're not sure what's going on there, but now he's speaking of different kind of drugs. He's asking the doctor, is it something that you can give her? And then while you're at it, do you have something that I can use to purge these Englishmen who are coming for me? So he's in and out talking about Lady Macbeth, the armor, the English is coming to him. So Macbeth is really stressed out here.
Aye, my good lord. Your royal preparations makes us hear something.
Bring it after me. I will not be afraid of death and bane till Burnham Forest come to Dunsinane.
Were I from Dunsinane away and clear, profit again should hardly draw me here.
Notice what the doctor said. Remember what an aside is. Nobody else can hear him. He says, if I was coming from that forest, I would not be coming here. And then he says, profit again should hardly draw me here. Basically, I don't care how much they're trying to pay me. Macbeth won't see me anymore. I'm not coming back to this castle. All right, so we're moving to scene 4. Listen carefully.
They exit. Scene 4. The country near Burnham Wood. Enter Malcolm, Seward, Macduff, Seward's son, Menteith, Caithness, Angus, and soldiers marching.
Cousins, I hope the days are near at hand that Chambers will be safe. We doubt it nothing.
What wood is this before us?
The one of Burnham. Let every soldier hew him down a bough and bear it before him. Thereby shall we shadow the numbers of our host and make discovery in report of us. It shall be done.
All right, so I thought we weren't going to see Menteith and Caithness again, but here they are. So Malcolm comes and says, I hope that this is all about to come to an end and our rooms will again be safe, and they have faith and confidence. We doubted nothing. Seward is asking, what's this wood, this forest before us, right? This is the Burnham Wood. So Malcolm gives instructions, and these instructions are very important. Let every soldier hew him down a bough and bear it before him. A bough is a branch, right? Many of my students don't know this word. I always refer to the Rockabye Baby lullaby. Remember we talked about lullabies briefly when we were going over character Analysis, rockabye baby on the treetop. When the wind blows, the cradle will rock. When the bough breaks, the cradle will fall. Down will go baby cradle and all. That bough is a branch. That branch is falling from the tree. So Malcolm is giving every soldier's instructions to tear down a branch and bear it before him. Thereby shall we shadow the numbers of our hosts and make discovery air in report of us. I wonder if you all can figure out what's going on here. If every soldier takes a branch off the tree and bears it before him, the imagery is you have a tree branch, not a small one, I'm assuming, something of some size, and you place it in front of you. You're bearing it in front of you. And it says, we shall shadow the numbers of our hosts. Can you all figure out what that means? Shadow the numbers of our hosts and make discovery air in report of us. So it's like a camouflage. They don't really want people to see how many of them there are, although the servant seems to know. And plus they won't really know when we're coming, because what's the imagery that's going to bring about if everybody has a tree branch in front of them? Listen carefully.
We learn no other, but the confident tyrant keeps still in Dunsinane and will endure our setting down before it.
'Tis his main hope. For where there is advantage to be given, both more and less have given him the revolt, and none serve with him but constrained things whose hearts are absent too.
Let our just censures attend the true event, and put we on industrious soldiership.
The time approaches that will with due decision make us know what we shall say we have and what we owe. Thoughts speculative their unsure hopes relate, but certain issues strokes must arbitrate. Towards which advance the war.
They exit marching.
Okay, so they're kind of going into this not really knowing what they're going to face. However, they do know that Macbeth is confident and he has not left his castle. He keeps still at Dunsinane and will endure our settling down before it. That means Macbeth is ready for us. And so the guys are a little unsure of what's going to happen, but Seward says it doesn't matter. This is our decision and we have to still go forward and try to beat him if we can. Okay. Moving right along, scene 5. I think.
Scene 5, Dunsinane, within the castle. Enter Macbeth, Satan, and soldiers with drum and colors.
Hang on our banners on the outward walls, the cry is still they come. Our castle's strength will laugh a siege to scorn. Here let them lie, till famine and the ague eat them up. Were they not forced with those that should be ours, we might have met them dare, for beard to beard, and beat them backward home. What is that noise?
All right, so Macbeth knows that they're still coming, right? And he says, our castle strength will laugh a siege to scorn. Like, we're gonna outnumber them, right? We're gonna win. However, he says, were they not forced with those that should be ours? So this suggests that people who are on or should have been on Scotland's side have deserted Macbeth's army and gone to fight with Malcolm. So he says, if they weren't enforced with those, we might have met them dareful beard to beard and beat them backward home. But now we might have some battle on our hands because people who should have been with us are now with them. And then you have these women crying out in the city. And Macbeth is asking, what is that noise? Listen carefully.
Cry of women, my lord.
He exits.
I've almost forgot the taste of fears. The time has been my senses would have cooled to hear a night shriek, and my fell of hair would at a dismal treatise rouse and stir as life were in. I have supped full of horrors. Direness familiar to my slaughterous thoughts cannot once start me.
Okay, so notice Satan, after he told him this, he left, and Macbeth is by himself. And Macbeth says, I have almost forgotten the taste of fear. So he hears these women screaming, and he doesn't even recognize what this is, right? He says, the time has been, my senses would have cooled to hear a night shriek. I would have come to my senses, right? And we know this about him. This guy was not immoral, but now he can't even recognize this anymore. Similar to wherefore could I not say amen? Right? His morals are leaving him unconsciously. He doesn't even realize that they have left. And now, he is just so terrible. Nothing even bothers him anymore. He's become desensitized to fear and hurt, things of that nature. Listen carefully.
Wherefore was that cry?
The queen, my lord, is dead. She should have died hereafter. There would have been a time for such a word. Tomorrow, tomorrow, and tomorrow creeps in this petty pace from day to day to the last syllable of recorded time. And all our yesterdays have lighted fools the way to dusty death. Out, brief candle. Life's but a walking shadow. A poor player that struts and frets his hour upon the stage, and then is heard no more. It's a tale told by an idiot, full of sound, fury, signifying nothing.
All right, so Satan went to see why these women are screaming, and we see that Lady Macbeth is now dead. The queen is dead, my lord, right? And Macbeth says she should have died hereafter. What does that mean? She should have died later. Macbeth is on the brink of war. He doesn't even have time to mourn his wife. He said there would have been a time for such a word, like I would be able to say something, but he can't. So imagine having to now go into battle with your wife dead and you can't even address it. So Macbeth is reflecting on life in general. Tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow. Everything is just, life just goes on day after day after day, creeps in this petty pace from day to the last syllable of recorded time. That's all we do, is just go from one day to another. All our yesterdays have lighted fools the way to dusty death. Out, brief candle. This brief candle is a metaphor for our life. It's only brief. All it does is burn away and it's meaningless. Life is but a walking shadow, a poor player that struts and frets his hour upon the stage, and then it's heard no more. Our lives are meaningless. You come, you do a performance, and then you're gone. It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. Life is meaningless, all right? Again, one of the more popular speeches from this play, especially the line, life is but a walking shadow and full of sound and fury. There's even a book titled after this. So here Macbeth is reflecting on the meaninglessness of life, all right? Listen carefully.
Enter a messenger.
Thou comest to use thy tongue, thy story quickly.
Gracious my lord, I should report which I say I saw, but know not how to do.
Well, say, sir.
All right, can anybody guess what he's trying to report? The messenger says, I should report which I say I saw, but know not how to do it. What is it that he wants to report but doesn't know how to say?
As I did stand my watch upon the hill, I looked toward Burnham, and anon methought the wood began to move.
The wood began to move. What do you think this messenger saw? Remember, all of the soldiers have a branch in front of them. So if you think of this imagery in your head, and everybody has like a tree branch right in front of them, and it's 10,000 of them all together, and they're walking forward, it looks like the forest is moving, like the forest is marching toward the castle. Listen carefully.
Liar and slave, let me endure your wrath, if it be not so. Within this 3 mile you may see it coming. I say a moving grove.
If thou speaks false, upon the next tree shalt thou hang alive till famine claim thee.
So Macbeth called him a liar and a slave, and the messenger says, listen, I will endure your anger if I'm lying. Within 3 miles, you can see it coming. I'm telling you, it's a moving forest. So this guy doesn't even know how to report that, because They can't fathom the idea of a forest moving, but Macbeth has heard this before, right? Where has he heard this? And he tells this guy, listen, if you're lying, I shall hang you upon the next tree alive and leave you there until famine clings to you, until you starve to death. All right, listen carefully.
If thy speech be sooth, I care not if thou dost for me as much. I pull in resolution and begin to doubt the equivocation of the fiend that lies like truth.
Fear not till Burnham Wood do come to Dunsinane. And now Wood comes toward Dunsinane. Arm, arm, and out!
If this which he avouches does appear, there is nor flying hence, nor tarrying here. I begin to be aweary of the sun, and wish the estate of the world were now undone.
Ring the alarm bell. Blow wind. Counteract. At least we'll die with harness on our back.
All right, so now Macbeth is referring back to the lying or the equivocation, which we've seen this word before. This is back to our I can't think of the name of them right now. The word is escaping me. It'll come to me. At any rate, so it's like when they tell the truth, but it can be interpreted in another way. He says, they told me to not fear until Burnham Wood comes to Dunsinane. So now Burnham Wood is coming to Dunsinane. I have reason to be scared, correct? But Macbeth is still going to fight. Arm, arm, and out. That means bring me my armor and I'm going to fight. Because he says, blow wind, come rack, at least we'll die with harness on our back. I am not going out without a fight. Oh,
As I
sorry.
understand my that lies like truth.
Tarrying here, I begin to be aweary of the sun, and wish the estate of the world were now undone.
Ring the alarm bell. Blow wind. Counteract. At least we'll die with harness on our back.
They exit. Scene 6, Dunsinane, before the castle. Enter Malcolm, Seward, Macduff, and their army with bows.
Now, near enough. Your leafy screens throw down and show like those you are. You, worthy uncle, shall with my cousin, your right noble son, lead our first battle. Worthy Macduff and we shall take upon what else remains to do according to our order.
Very well. Do we but find the tyrant's power tonight? Let us be beaten if we cannot fight.
Make all our trumpets speak. Give them all breath. Those clamorous harbingers of blood and death.
They exit.
All right, so now everybody is throwing down their branches. They say, show yourself for what you are. Seward and his son are going to lead the battle, and then Macbeth and Macduff will come in according to their ranks, right? So the younger people are going out first. Well, Seward is older, but you know, basically, I guess the ones who are more invested in the fight, they're going to come in later, okay? Listen carefully.
Scene 7, another part of the battlefield. Enter Macbeth.
They have tied me to the stake. I cannot fly, but bear like I must fight the course. Let's see, there was not born of woman. Such a one I am to fear or not.
Enter young Seward.
Okay, so Macbeth knows that he cannot run. He has to fight, but he's still holding on to part of the prophecy. Although they told him don't fear until Burnham Wood march on Dunsinane, he's still holding on when it says, because they told him that no one who's not born of a woman could harm him, which again, he came to the conclusion that that's everybody, because everybody is born of a woman, okay? Listen carefully.
What is thy name?
Not be afraid to hear it.
No, though thou callest thyself a hotter name than any is in hell.
My name's Macbeth.
Devil himself could not pronounce a title more hateful to mine ear.
No more fearful.
Thou liest, abhorrent tyrant. With my sword I'll prove the lie thou speakst.
They fight, and young Seward is slain.
All right, so that was quick, right? So again, you remember Seward is the cousin, the younger guy to the younger Seward to Malcolm's uncle Seward, right? And remember, they had all these guys in the army who were young. Seward, this young Seward is not a seasoned soldier like his father, and he has the unfortunate opportunity to come against Macbeth in battle. We know this little guy is no match for him, but he tried. He came and he says, "What is thy name?" Because he doesn't even know who Macbeth is, but I guess he has a inkling that it might be him. And Macbeth is like, "Listen, you'll be afraid if I told you my name." And so they have this exchange, and he confirms that his name is Macbeth. Young Seward, the devil himself, could not pronounce a title more hateful to my ear. I hate you so much, right? And Macbeth responds, "No more fearful." And then he goes on, they fight, and young Seward is slain, as we could expect, because he's no match for Macbeth. So this young guy has been killed by Macbeth.
Thou wast born of woman. With swords I smile at, weapons laugh to scorn, brandished by man that's of a woman born.
He exits.
Macbeth make me sick here, right? Oh, you were born of a woman. I don't have to worry about you. He laughed here. I don't have anything to worry about because these people, all of them who are brandishing steel have been born of woman. So I'm good. So Macbeth leaves this battle very confident, in the prophecy. Listen carefully.
Enter Macduff.
That way the noises. Tyrant, show thy face. If thou beest slain, and with no stroke of mine, my wife and children's ghosts will haunt me still. I cannot strike at wretched kerns whose arms are hired to bear their staves. Either thou, Macbeth, or else my sword with an unbattered edge I sheathe again unbeaded. There thou shouldst be. By this great clatter, one of greatest note seems bruited. Let me find him fortune, and more I beg not.
Okay, so Macduff is saying, I only want Macbeth. I don't have time to fight these wretched kerns whose arms are hired to bear their stave. It's either Macbeth or nobody. I'm going to leave my sword clean. So Macduff doesn't have any bodies on his sword yet. He is waiting solely for Macbeth because he's like, if somebody else kills him and it's no stroke of mine that kills him, then my wife and my children's ghosts will haunt me. I need to get revenge, or otherwise I am not going to ever be comfortable again. Listen carefully.
He exits. Enter Malcolm and Seward.
This way, my lord. The castle gently rendered. The tyrant's people on both sides do fight. The noble things do bravely in the war. The day almost itself professes yours, and little is to do.
Okay, so once again, he's basically saying so many of Macbeth's men have come to Malcolm's side that we don't have much work to do because everybody's with us now. All right, the castle is gently rendered.
We have met with foes that strike beside us.
Enter, sir, the castle.
They exit. Scene 8, another part of the battlefield. Enter Macbeth.
Why should I play the Roman fool and die on mine own sword? Was I see lives, the gashes do better upon them.
Enter.
Okay, so here Macbeth is reflecting on suicide. Why should I play the Roman fool and die on my own sword? I'm not going to be a fool like this and commit suicide. While I see lives, the gashes do better upon them. As long as I'm alive and they're alive, it's better to use my sword on other people.
Enter Macduff.
Turn, hellhound, turn. Of all men else, I have avoided thee. But get thee back. My soul is too much charged with blood of thine already.
Ooh, I know this hurts. Can you all see this? Macbeth is doing a lot of trash talking on this battlefield. He tells him, of all men else, I have avoided thee. I don't even want to kill you because my soul is too much charged with blood of thine already. I already got so much Macduff blood on my hands. I don't even want anymore. All right. That would really hurt. I don't know about you all, but it would hurt me.
No words. My voice is in my sword. Thou bloodier villain than terms can give thee out.
Thou losest labor. As easy mayest thou the entrenching air with thy keen sword impress as make me bleed. Let fall thy blade on vulnerable cress. I bear a charmed life, which must not yield to one of woman born.
Okay, so Macbeth is telling him, you're wasting your time, honey. My life is charmed. You can try to make me bleed, etc., but my life will not be yielded to somebody who was born from a woman. Listen carefully.
Despair thy charm, and let the angel whom thou still hast served tell thee Macduff was from his mother's womb untimely ripped.
Okay, so let's talk about this, right? Oh, despair thy charm and let the angel, although it's not an angel at all who told Macbeth that, this angel that you choose to serve, tell them that Macduff was not necessarily born from a woman. I was from my mother's womb untimely ripped. So Macduff was a premature baby who was born by C-section prior to C-sections being an actual thing, right? So he wasn't technically birthed in the traditional sense. He was taken away from his mother's womb through a C-section. So that's the way that the apparitions tricked Macbeth into confidence. That's one of the ways.
Accursed be that tongue that tells me so, for it hath cowed my better part of man. And be these juggling fiends no more believe that palter with us in a double sense, that keep the word of promise to our ear and break it to our hope. I'll not fight with thee.
Then yield thee, coward, and live to be the show and gaze of the time. We'll have thee as our rarer monsters are. Here may you see the tyrant.
All right, so Macbeth is now mad, right? He's obsessed. So these fiends, they made me believe this in their double speak. They made me believe this. And then he says, I'm not going to fight with you. And Macduff was like, okay, then go ahead and die anyway. Yield, coward. And so we can put you where we put our other, our more rare monsters. And we're going to put you upon a pole and put down the words, here may you see the tyrant, put you on display as if you're a sideshow. All right, listen carefully.
I will not yield. To kiss the ground before young Malcolm's feet, and to be baited with the rattle's curse? Though Burnham would become to Dunsinane, and thou oppose, being of no woman born, yet I will try the last. Before my body, I throw my warlike shield. Lay on, Macduff, and damn be him that first cries, hold, enough!
Okay, so this part here, Macbeth decides that I could give up, but I'm not. Why would I do that? I will not live to kiss Malcolm's feet, right? And I don't care what they told me. Although all of those things came true, I will try the last, which is that I'm a good soldier and I'm going to fight to my death. Before my body, I throw my warlike shield. Lay on, Macduff, and damned be him that first cries, hold enough. Now, the thing I want you to notice is that Macbeth here dies like a man. He could have given up and accepted his death, similar to the other Thane of Carter, who understood that he betrayed his country and took his death, but not Macbeth. Does this give Macbeth some redemption? What do you prefer? I mean, if you're in this, are you in it all the way at this point? Or would you have just given up and let, Macduff take his revenge? What do you do? But Macbeth did not give up and apologize for anything. He simply said, listen, I have one more thing to try. I'm going to fight. to the death. Listen carefully.
Exit fighting. They enter fighting, and Macbeth is slain. Macduff exits, carrying off Macbeth's body. Enter, with drum and colors, Malcolm, Seward, Ross, Thanes, and soldiers.
All right, so Macbeth is officially dead, right? Macduff killed him officially. Listen very carefully.
And with the friends we miss were safe arrived.
Some must go off, and yet by these I see so great a day as this is cheaply bought.
Macduff is missing, and your noble son.
Your son, my lord, has paid a soldier's debt. He only lived but till he was a man, the which no sooner had his prowess confirmed in the unshrinking station where he fought, but like a man, he died.
Then he is dead.
Aye, and brought off the field. Your cause of sorrow must not be measured by his worth, for then it hath no end.
All right, so this manhood theme has come up over and over and over and over again throughout this play. So they tell Seward that his son is dead, right? But he lived until he was a man, which means, this boy was just on the brink of manhood. He had just become a man. And they say to him, he died like a man. He fought and died like a man. And the father is confirming that he's dead. But Ross is saying, yes, but you have no reason to try to measure your sorrow by his worth, because that would never end. Listen to his response.
That he has hurt before,
Aye, on the front.
why then, God's soldier be he. Had I as many sons as I have heirs, I would not wish them to a fairer death. And so his knell is known.
All right, so the daddy want to know, did he get his licks, right? Had he his hurts before he got killed, did he get any licks in? And Ross says, yes, on the front, which is no small deed, no small feat for Macbeth, correct? Because we know how good of a soldier Macbeth was. So the dad is now pleased with this, right? So he follows suit with that general manhood, expectation that has been displayed throughout this play. Well, he's God's soldier then. Had I as many sons as I have heirs, I would not wish them to a fairer death. My son died fairly, and I have no real sorrow anymore. All right, listen carefully.
He's worth more sorrow, and that I'll spend for him.
He's worth no more. They say he parted well and paid his score. And so, God be with him. Here comes your comfort.
All right, that seems kind of harsh, right? He's worth no more sorrow. Why are we still crying over him? He did his part. It's done.
Macduff with Macbeth's head.
Hail, King, for so thou art.
Behold, where stands the usurper's cursed head. The time is free. I see thee compassed with thy kingdom's pearl, that speak my salutation in their minds, whose voices I desire aloud with mine. Hail, King of Scotland!
Hail, King of Scotland!
We shall not spend a large expense of time before we reckon with your several loves, and make us even with you. My thanes and kinsmen, henceforth be earls, the first that ever Scotland in such an honor named. What's more to do, which would be planted newly with the time, as calling home our exiled friends abroad that fled the snares of watchful tyranny, producing forth the cruel ministers of this dead butcher and his fiend-like queen, who, as 'tis thought, by self and violent hands took off her life. This, and what needful else that calls upon us by the grace of grace, we will perform in measure, time, and place. So thanks to all at once, and to each one whom we invite to see us crowned at Scum.
Home exit.
All right, so Macduff has delivered Macbeth's head as promised. Malcolm is now, they're hailing him as King of Scotland because he's the rightful king. Malcolm also tells us about Lady Macbeth. She died by suicide. 'tis thought by self and violent hands took off her life. So like the doctor hinted at, she killed herself. She couldn't take it. She couldn't deal with it anymore. Malcolm says we're going to call back all of our people who were exiled or who ran away from him and return our country to its former glory. All right. So that is it. We will have some further discussions in class to get prepared for some Macbeth assignments. And I hope you all enjoyed the play. See you guys soon.